Well, this man has seen many of the big moments, many of the big collapses that the Knicks have had. So it's going to be interesting to get Mike Lupica of the Daily News, his take on what happened at the Garden last night. And we welcome in our friend Mike Lupica. Mike, how you doing?
Good afternoon, guys. I have to start off by telling you this. Michael, I just got off the phone with Spike Lee because I needed to know if he was having PTSD after what Maxey did last night that evoked what Reggie did to him and all of us back in '95. And it turns out he wasn't there last night. He was shooting a movie with Denzel in the Bronx. So as soon as he heard me on the phone, he said, "They can't blame this one on me, Michael." He was listening on the radio, and guys, listen. It was. Let me start by saying this. This is great. This is a great playoff series out of the past. This is the Knicks against Reggie in the old days. This is them against Michael in the old days. This is them against Riley and the Heat and Alonzo and all that stuff in the old days. However this comes out now, and listen, this team has become so appealing. We want them to win. This is a great playoff series out of the past that's better than anything going on in the NBA right now.
It's a great point. It is hands down the most exciting series going. And that's interesting. A friend of mine saw Denzel on the subway the other day. So now we understand it. Shooting a movie in the Bronx with Spike. Now, okay, just from a straight strategy standpoint, Mike, did you think that the Knicks should foul after the missed free throw, up 3, Maxey gets the ball, they inbound? Are you thinking Tibbs is going to foul right there?
They have to foul. I mean, the short answer is yeah, and the longer answer is an adjective before yes. Of course they have to foul, because there is a much better chance than Tyrese Maxey on the night he's having is going to make that shot, even from the logo, than there is that they foul him, that he misses on purpose, that he makes two. There's a much better chance that he's going to make the shot that he made. Now, I don't know of what's come out of practice today or anything like that, but Tibbs has to tell Deuce McBride that he's fouling him before the shot comes in. Because you see McBride runs around the pick, but he has plenty of time to foul him. It drives me insane when coaches don't foul in that situation, because they think the worst case scenario is a missed free throw on purpose and they get the offensive rebound and they make the shot. No. How many times do you see that happen? It hardly ever happens.
Well, the bothersome thing is he wanted to foul, but the communication broke down.
Well, I think the communication starts in the huddle, and you basically say, okay, if Hart makes one, you do this. If he makes both, you do this. If he misses both, you do this. And you can't let him tie the game. And what you know, it's the old line from Semi-Tough. What could have happened did. Okay, and what we saw last night was one of the great season-saving performances I can ever remember in the playoffs. It was like it happened at the end of a Game 7, because it was a Game 7 for the Sixers. That kid was unbelievable. And, you know, the Mitchell Robinson thing, people are jumping all over him. That so often happens when a big guy comes out and tries to guard a little guy. He's clumsy, and that happened. But this idea that the Knicks gave it away, well, kind of, but Maxey took it from them. He has been, for so much of this series, I know this sounds blasphemous right now in New York City, he's been as great for his team as Brunson has been for the Knicks. And the thing about Maxey is he's got another guy. And right now, Jalen Brunson is out there, and it looks like the end of it looks exactly like the end of the Heat series last year when it was Brunson against the world.
And we were talking about that earlier, Mike, where, you know, Brunson looks like he's taking every shot. And my comeback to that is he has to, because the other guys are hit or miss. This is where they miss Julius Randle. People have underestimated how important Julius Randle is. He is that other great scorer. The Knicks don't have that now. DiVincenzo could go 3 for 17 on a game, so you can't depend on him. Same thing with Hart. They don't have that other legitimate scorer, so he's going to take every shot.
I have no problem with him taking every shot. Michael, you're 100% right. Here's the thing, and I know he made a bad decision with Hartenstein there at the end, but he was only going to throw it to Hartenstein so Hartenstein could throw it back to him so he could get a better shot. People are expecting DiVincenzo and Josh Hart, as admirable as they have been, to be something other than they are most of the time. Hart was great in the first two games, and I think, what were they last night? I don't have the sheet in front of me. 2 for 13 from threes.
Yep.
I mean, the three disparity killed them last night. And you know what? You can put me down as somebody who started to think, well, maybe, the way Brunson has flourished, maybe they are better off without Julius. No, wrong. I was dead wrong about that. They need somebody else. And I don't know who that's going to be on Thursday night at the stupid starting time of 9 o'clock. I don't know whether McBride can step back up or one of those two Villanova guys has to remember how to shoot the ball, or guess what? They're going to lose again on Thursday night.
It's one of the things that, tell me how you feel about this, Mike. One of the things that I don't like about Tibbs, and there are so many things to like, I don't like the fact that he can't use everyone. Like, he only knows how to use the guys that he likes. There's no creating off your bench to find a spark from a source. Like, other teams may be able to find someone. You'll see Miami do that, right? Spoelstra in the playoffs goes and uses someone that none of us have ever heard of, and he's killing you. That's not something Tibbs is going to do.
No, but I think last night, I mean, I know that the Sixers played 8 guys last night, but I think the 8th guy hardly played at all. So they basically had the same rotation that the Knicks had last night. What happened last night, to me, was, well, a couple of things. Maxey had a career night, like a crazy, he's that good. Remember, at the start of the year, you could have a fair debate about whether you'd rather have Maxey or Brunson. And then Brunson has the season he's having. And now here comes Maxey again to remind everybody just how talented he is. But I know how much the Garden hates Embiid, okay? And those were cheap shots. And all of that happened, okay? And he became the biggest villain they've had there probably since Reggie. But he reminded you last night, even on one leg. I mean, he's had a game in this series where he scored 50 on one leg. And last night, even though remember they took him out in the fourth quarter for a while, he looked completely gassed. And he still ends up with a triple-double. He still makes that three-point play on the short jumper. He set the pick for Maxey on the shot that tied the game. He's reminding everybody that he might be a pain, but he's a great player who, at his best, has looked like the best player in the whole league.
By the way, Mike, that pick that he set was much worse than the pick on the Connecticut women's team that ended their season. Much worse.
Yeah, I know. That was... I think they're still talking about that one. But, Michael, what Maxey did was like this weird karmic payback for what happened in Game 2. But on top of that, you had a bad feeling as soon as Maxey made the 4-pointer, thinking, a 4-point play in the playoffs, in the Garden, going against the Knicks.
I know.
That can't be a good thing. And then, people forget, by the way, about Reggie in Game 1 in 95. Those 8 points came in 8.9 seconds. It happened in the blink of an eye. And remember something about that series. The Knicks got into the hole in that series, and even though they fought back to win Game 6 in Indiana, Michael, I think were you there? Were you doing those games then or not?
I was there as a fan when Johnson hit the 4-point shot, but that was a different time.
And no, Reggie, the Knicks, once they lost Game 1 in 95, they kind of never recovered. They shocked the world by going into Indiana and winning Game 6, and then Game 7, of course, in 95. Patrick misses the finger roll at the end.
Yeah.
It's the end of that season.
After
it's the
another
end
guarantee.
of Pat Riley. So it became a rather apocalyptic series. And now here comes this series. And really, when was the last time? I mean, the Knicks fans couldn't really build up a lot of hate for the modern incarnation of the Miami Heat, okay? When was the last time an opponent got the Knicks fans this worked up? It really was the old Pacers. 25 years ago, when Johnson was making the 4-point play in Game 3 of that series. Listen, nobody's having any fun being a New York Knicks fan today. They're scared to death. My son Christopher just told me the Sixers they bought 2,000
Yep.
tickets. Is that true?
Yeah,
They did,
Michael
right?
Rubin and the owners bought 2,000 tickets. Yeah.
Well, no Knick fan wants to hear that this is fun today. I wanted to do a quick welfare check on Ben Stiller and Jon Stewart. Didn't you guys? I mean, I just wanted to reach out and just let them know that, well, a couple of things. One is you're not part of the story, boys. And two, I just wanted to make sure they were doing okay today.
I'm glad you brought that up because you've covered a lot of championship teams in this city. Have you ever seen a fan base more cocky about a team that's done nothing yet? I mean, the arrogance, the cockiness, it's unbelievable.
Michael, I was trying to remember, as the game wore down to the end and it looked like they were going to close them out, I was thinking, should they just go straight down Broadway to the Canyon of Heroes, or, should they get the floats on the West Side Highway and just because of traffic and get down there faster? Yeah, no, I mean, and Patrick's there and Starks is there. No, they're getting ahead of themselves. I mean, put me down as one of those people who, we want Boston. Well, wait a minute. Wait. You haven't been past the second round since 2000, okay? Since you limped into the Eastern Conference Finals against the Pacers. So everybody has a right to be excited. I mean, and I'll ask you guys this, okay? What would be, you probably have had this conversation, what would be the next biggest title in New York City? Would it be the Yankees winning a World Series for the first time since 2009? Would it be the Knicks winning? Would it be the Jets winning for the first time in a half a century? I think it might be the Knicks.
I think it's between the Jets and the Knicks just because of the longevity of it. But I think this is more of a Knicks town than a Jet town. I mean, because you've got the Giants there, right? So, and you've got so many football fans of teams outside the market. But if you're a basketball fan, 90% I would think of the basketball fans in this town are Knicks fans. So I really, and it's been 51 years, Mike, I think it would be the Knicks.
And Michael, you guys might remember this, maybe you don't. But when the Yankees looked like they were going back to the World Series in 2017, okay, and they went back to Houston up 3-2, and we know what happened. They scored one run, blah, 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 blah. But walking out of the stadium that day after Game 5, and I was just with the crush of Yankee fans because I didn't have to write until later. And during that time, I started, I tied it to Springsteen, but I talked about the rising that was going on with Yankee fans because it felt like a rising because they were ahead of schedule, okay? And you could feel all the old Yankee stuff rearing up again, even though it was on the other side of 161st Street, okay? This has been a rising with Knicks fans. This team has been better than they thought it was going to be. It's been tougher than they thought it was going to be. It's had to overcome. So it's an extremely appealing team, okay? And that's why if they blow this thing now, after being 96-90, under 30 seconds to go last night, this will go down as it's not going to be 2004 for the Yankees. And by the way, Mike, is it too soon to talk? It's too soon still.
It's
right,
a little, but we
that.
actually did. This would be Dave Roberts. This game will be Dave Roberts if they lose.
If they lose this series after the way the Garden has been for these last two games, and again, people who were there for Game 2 tell me that they really felt the comeback in that one was as loud as veterans had heard it since Larry Johnson made the 4. And I have to tell you, of all the great nights and all the great days I ever had covering the Knicks, and Michael, we've talked about this a lot. We didn't know how good we had it in the 1990s, whether they won a title or not. Those were glory days of minus a title. And so, all that stuff was true. The Yankees didn't, even great Yankee teams, didn't really start until the Knicks played their last game, okay? But all those events, the loudest I ever heard it was the night Larry Johnson made that shot. And Christopher, my oldest, was there that night, and it's as great a sports memory as he's ever had. So all of that, all of those memories have come back, okay, over the last week or so. And that's why, oh my goodness, they cannot not win this series now.
And by the way, Mike, it was too soon.
Okay?
Too soon.
Do I think they're okay? No, I don't think they're okay. No, I don't. I listen, if they went down there and win on Thursday night, they would not surprise me. They have, it's the old Tyson line. Everybody's got a plan until they get hit. Okay, they got hit again. They've been hit again. Okay, Embiid hit them with a 50-point game. They came back from that. This is a little more to come back from. This is it's a lot that happened to them in regulation and in the overtime last night. So can they surprise us? They wouldn't be a huge surprise if they've won in Philly already. But now, again, it's how they pick themselves back up. It'll be a very interesting first quarter, I think, on Thursday night.
Mike, great stuff as always. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the series.
It's again, if you love sports in the city, even though you're a little down today, this is big fun. This is big fun. Thank you, guys.
You got it.
Later, Mike.
The great Mike Lupica from the Daily News, writes for so many other places, writes books, the whole deal. You know his story.